Welcome everybody to the Weekly Look. This
Welcome to the weekly look.
this is the last show of the Weekly Look. So we're gonna have a lot of guests on. We're not gonna really talk about commenting on movies today. We might talk about movies, but we're not gonna talk about the comments on movies. Which, how you doing?
That's how Chris got out of making the new intro was just canceling the show.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll miss you faking an orgasm. That would have been
oh,
anyway. How you doing today, Witch?
I'm
Yeah.
doing okay. I'm tired.
hmm Yeah. Well, it's all that singing all night long.
I know.
hmm I'll get to you after a while.
You should know. No, I'm
Uh,
too.
yeah. I used to do it.
Uh, that's right.
Yeah, but no, but how many you do like I guess 5 shows, right? A day sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
If you add it up, that's 5 hours of singing a day.
I've done seven.
You've
I
done
think
so far.
seven's the maximum I've done so far. That was starting to strain my voice, actually, when I did seven. When I did the 7 gigs in one day, I was like, "Oh God, I could lose my voice so at the end of the day." But after, I mean, five is nothing to me now.
Have
Like
you
it,
have you
it
ever
doesn't
blown
bug
out
my.
your voice? Have you blown out your voice yet?
No,
That's amazing,
no,
especially
I
after doing
haven't.
all those hours. Because in real life, in a club, an act is 3 hours long, maybe
Yeah,
4 if they want more, and they'll pay you. You know, so you figure you're doing 4 hours straight. That's, let's see, it's anywhere from 50 songs to 65, depending on how long the songs are. So you're singing about 50 to 60 songs in those hours. And what they do is they give you 15-minute breaks in between each hour. You get a 15, and then you come back and sing again, you
yeah.
know. So, yeah, well, you could do it in a club with no problem if you've done 7 hours straight.
Well, there was a, I don't know, there was a restaurant that is going to be hiring live people, and one of my contacts there was telling wanted to sign me up and stuff, but I mean, on my current rig, I need to get speakers
Yeah,
before I can sing live because I don't. That's the only thing I don't have. I think is like speakers to do
12
so.
inch.
Because
I told you 12-inch speakers or stands will work.
yeah,
That's what you gotta look for. They're reasonable compared to the other ones. Put it that way.
yeah, just add money.
Yep. All it takes is money. see, people don't realize. They think that you get up there and you just sing and it doesn't cost anything, and they don't realize you're practicing all week, all right, to do one show. Then your equipment costs about anywhere from $1,500 to over $3,000, depending on what you're working with.
Yeah,
So they have no clue on how much it actually costs to perform. You know,
yeah,
I used to get in a fight with managers because they say, "Well, we'll pay this much," and I'll tell them, "Well, that will cover my mic and my speaker."
uh,
So yeah, they have no clue. But anyway, yeah, the Halloween Fest. I wanted to talk about that a little bit before we bring Pookie in. It did really good this year. I mean, Kente basically put it all together, and I helped
yeah.
him a little bit.
Kente's awesome.
And he's supposed to be on the show, but I don't see him on Skype. So if he comes in while we're on, I'll bring him in to talk a little bit. But I don't
He's a
see him.
busy guy. He's a busy guy. It's
Yeah,
hard
no.
to get a hold of Kente some nowadays because him's busy.
And he's got a girlfriend, so that's another
So
reason.
now he's even more busy. Bow
Mm,
chicka bow bow. No,
uh-huh.
just
No, but yeah, he is a busy person. But we had, I think it was 13 or 14 entries altogether for the Halloween Fest, and all of them were great. I was impressed by a lot of the work. Tom was in it, and there was a lot of other people in it. There's too many names to list, but it went really well. It went better than it did last year as far as entries, so I was really happy about it.
That's
And
wicked.
the Sunday, a lot of people were there, and even Monday on Halloween, a lot of people, some people showed up and watched it. And we even had some people that never even seen him in cinema before.
Oh, that's
So,
wicked.
it went really well, and they were impressed by the work that people did and what they put into it. And in fact, they wanted links to some others, some sites to look at the
Oh,
cinema. So,
good.
yeah. So it went really well, and I think he's supposed to announce the winner of the poster contest that he did for that too. And I'm not sure when he's going to do it, but
Oh,
we'll see. We'll see who the winner is. I voted on it. There was a lot of nice posters for it, and it was hard to decide which one was which because people put a lot of good work into it and time. But it should be good.
oh,
Whoever,
that sounds good. What do they get when they win?
I think it's a gift certificate for 20 something dollars or more.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he'll send it to him.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know what's going to happen next year. We'll probably do it again. Maybe get with Kente and we'll do it again next year. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
And our guest today is, we have a lot of them,
we have
but
a lot of guests today. We're
our
just
first,
cycling through people.
right, and talking and
And then
hopefully,
we're gonna cry at the end and
uh-huh,
have
and
like a big kumbaya. We're all gonna sing and stuff. No, I'm just teasing.
you could sing. I'll do back of harmony. Anyway, yeah, our guest today is Pooky Amsterdam. And how are you doing, Pooky?
I'm great, and thank you very much for making me part of today's cavalcade of stars.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
Cookie-licious.
That's an expression we just don't hear enough of.
hmm So, what have you been working on, Pookie? I know you're busy and you do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I kind of am busy in, I guess, a lot of different fronts. We have films that we put out all the time, and ones we're working on. We are now on the next story arc for Time Travelers. This arc is going to be a little bit darker. We've kind of gotten away from some of the Scooby-Doo kind of stuff, and we're really investigating a story that's very on trend, which is the way that technology and the ease of sort of giving up certain actions, uh, whether it be automatic trading and sell and buy limits, which we've certainly seen the stock market do the Watusi on, to allowing decisions to be made for us. It's going to be a really, I don't want to say too much about it. It opens with a homage to George Lucas and his great film THX 1138, and we really move through um, some fantastic scenarios. People in the community are, of course, involved. Um, Bryson Fall, whom we
hmm
all know and love, is the narrator in this. He plays the character of Sebastian, who's an advanced AI from the future who comes back to help the teens in what has to be a huge task. His voice is like Larry Fishburne-esque. He's really wonderful. Ricky Grove is in it. Petlove is in the cast. She's been a voice. Mark Chatroulette, Sonia Sedwin is in it, and of course Russell Boyd, who is a remarkable director, and is always a thrill to work with him. Is working on this with me. We also just put out a couple of fashion videos. This is new. We haven't done fashion. I love clothes. I don't you? I mean, I'm like, I love clothes, and I love the
I like
way
fashion.
What woman doesn't love clothes, though? Let's be
I'm
honest.
I'm not big on shoes, but I do like clothes.
I really do. I love finding things and finding a piece, whether it's a pair of shoes or jewelry or a jacket, and then saying, I'm going to just make an outfit up around this because this is just so beautiful.
I hate
So fat,
shopping. I hate shopping, but I like clothes.
yeah, that's
Like
another
I
thing.
like
Love
and I
humanity, hate people. It's a part of that.
Well, no, it's just actually, you know what it is? It's the change room that I hate. Okay. It's not the shopping itself. It's not the finding of the clothes. It's when
Hmm.
it's kind of like, uh, well, Witchy doesn't like the change rooms in SL because her wings get stuck.
Yeah,
Well,
we
And
did that somewhere. I
and
remember.
I personally, I don't know, I just find that if I go in a change room with a bunch of stuff, I'm in there for hours because I'm like
me too,
so.
because the people who follow me into the dressing room are pretty hot.
Which just can't get through the door. That's what her problem is. She's in there. She's gonna stay a while because of her wings.
But I have to talk about this fashion video, House of Rage Evolution, and it's just so exciting. It's like a real fashion music video, and there's like a little story involved. Um, I I urge everyone to see it because it's really very cool. And Rob Wax Soothsayer did a great job on Ashan International. They're a real life fashion company that have a presence in Second Life
It's
and
wicked.
did a beautiful runway uh, show with that. Very fast, very snappy. I'm working with Draxter Desprez on the Fluffy on a Meshin series, and I really hope you guys got a chance to see Monster Mash because that was a ton of fun. And we're coming out with another episode in 2 weeks. We've got Fluffy on a Meshin, the mad Fluffy, and the mad genius Drax. He's really great to work with, and uh, been working also paws to the wall on because of course I don't have balls. Richie, have you ever heard that expression? Let me ask you, have you ever heard that expression, big risk, big balls?
Big,
I've heard
no,
business
haven't.
big balls, big risk. I heard guys say this. They often say this on sort of panels and in, big balls, big risk. And I thought that it really is big boobs, big brains. And I'm going to tell you why, because when a woman has large breasts, the IQ of every man in the room drops about 70 points. And,
That's true,
you
That's
actually.
true.
That's very
Because
true
that's
because they go back to the caveman state
no,
and start,
exactly,
no.
exactly.
Think like children. Okay, around big boobs.
So I have a new
and
thing
their
every
lips start.
to me.
It's
Big
called
Big
breastfeeding. Yeah.
balls, big risk, big balls. I'm just going to say big boobs, big brains. Anyway, moving right along, there's Machin Expo, and I know that everybody listening, everybody in that chat room, everybody listening to the show is going to be a part of it. AT, who's on the show, is going to be in a panel called May I Clone Be With You. He'll be talking to Code Warrior by Deirdre Studio and animator Kathy. We have eight Sunday's events I am producing, so I'll talk quickly about that. I've put together 8 legend sessions in everything from educating machinima to thinking outside the frame, what makes great films great. Please go to the machin-expo.com blog. I'll certainly type that out in a few minutes and check that out. There's the full slate of programming. That should be really interesting and a chance to kind of be on the fly on the wall and listen into some genius at work in a one-on-one and in some cases three-on-three conversations. Saturday's events, which Chantal Harvey is producing, is going to be the screening of the films, and she's got a fantastic. Henry Lowood has the keynote speech. It's some marvelous programming. It's going to be a huge weekend. It starts on the 18th. TCAP Viper is going to be teaching a class. He does that really well and has agreed to be part of this. We're very excited. It's going to be mainly on the 19th and 20th from 10 to 3 p.m. Second Life. I urge everyone to come and be a part of it. And there are also events on Friday. Machin Expo is a premier international film festival. It has judging. There's a jury. It's prestigious. Thousands and thousands of people watched it last year. It will be shown over TMU Theater, I believe, this year
Yep.
as well. Yeah, it's amazing and just going to be really exciting. It's going to be the place to be for the international machinima community this weekend, and there are some real all-stars part of the program.
Now,
I
when
was
you
supposed
say
to be
thinking,
singing. I was supposed to be singing at that, but I don't know.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
singing. Are
I'm
you
singing
singing?
it.
Love.
I
I was
was
going to
supposed
talk
to
to
be
you
singing.
about
Well, I mean, we originally talked about me singing at like 12, and I said I would. So,
Great. Well, there's a break on Sunday. I believe the break is, well, we'll talk about it after the show, which but definitely want you there. And if you could sing your classic, "You Give Me Beaver," I would really. I thought I'd
I
die.
want
I thought I'd
that
die.
show. I
You
tell
are
her to sing that song on every show
yeah.
if she can, if
amazing.
it's a mature sim. Anyway,
I don't
um,
know. I don't know. Ricky originally had asked me to do it on the Friday at like noon, and I said I could, but I don't know what you guys have done. I haven't talked to anybody about scheduling or anything, so I was like,
But we'll have to get you in the band for Sunday. I know that there's a break. We're also going to be doing some interviews from the field, and want to get some people out there who we know are there, know have, of course, good sound, but also are part of the community that we didn't have a chance to, that I didn't have a chance, I know, to put on the legend sessions because was only just so many for so long. So
yeah.
I got a question. You say out of the frame. Is it out of the box? Do you mean as far as filmmaking? Out of their own box, their comfort zone? Is that what you meant by out of the frame?
all the films, you mean
Yeah,
the all of I'm sorry, all of the films, and if you'd like, I'll read out a list of the films are that went to jury. There were, I think, over 150 films submitted. 11 made it to the jury. They're a great representation of what machinima and real-time animation reflects today. They're done on different game engines. Some are they're all deeply felt, whether or not they're comedy or drama. You give me a minute, I'll get the list.
well, you don't have to go through the list. I was just curious on what kind of.
That's what I meant by all the films. Yeah, I meant, well, the films will be screened, I know, on Saturday, and that they'll also be on the Machine-Expo site.
Right. Lap's asking how many films were going to the event. In other words, out of 150, you said how many made
It
it?
was over 150 films.
Right. And how many made it to the event?
Films were going to the
That's
event.
wicked. That's really good.
Isn't that great? And great quality.
Oh, that's
Great
awesome.
quality. I know that there were 11 are part of the jury screening, and that there are other films that are a part of the screening.
Was there good submission by by both communities, like by SL and, um, you know, all the international people out there, sort of thing? Like, did SL represent well, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
There are certainly a lot of movies from Second Life, but there are also movies done in different engines which are just absolutely stunning. Ian Chisholm's Clear Skies 3 is
Mm-hmm.
up. He did that on Half-Life. That's a remarkable, that's, sort of your mouth just is like, oh my God. It's a great film. Tom Trantal has Dear Fairy in there, and I know that he's used other engines. Chat Noir Studios, of course, used Movie Storm.
Movie
It
store.
really is a
Yeah,
chance to see other films done. It, you
in
know, we
various engines, yeah.
we all love, it's like we all love our home country.
Yeah.
And I feel like Second Life in a way is our home country. But that doesn't mean that it's like, if you're American, you can love your country, but that doesn't mean you can't appreciate,
Foreign
the cuisine
films.
of France, or, the
Yeah.
military operations of Britain, or, the great spirit of the people of Scotland, or, the great schnitzel of Germany. You know what I mean? It's like you,
Well, it's true. I just seen a French film. It was like a zombie movie done in France, and they had subtitles, and the plot and the story was very good. I mean, and you're right. It doesn't matter if it's an American movie or a foreign movie. If it's got a good story and got a good plot and the visuals are really good, then it's a good movie. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter what engine you're using. If you can come up with a good story and a plot and visuals are really good, people will enjoy it no matter what engine it's
Well,
in. I think.
what I like about the
absolutely.
expo is it tends to encourage like a good international pool of machinima as well. And like you said, it's not just one platform. It's not just SL or it's not just Movie Storm or whatever. It's like a wide variety of engines, which is really cool
Right, exactly.
because it's a good pooling of resources that maybe some people have never heard of before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Hmm.
some of the filmmakers may have not have heard of the other engines, and when they see them and stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool. I should try that."
Exactly, and that's why an event like this is so powerful because it does raise awareness. Boing.net is going to be reviewing the event, and they have a pretty sizable presence, I
That's
believe.
excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put out the films. I'm in my own small way looking for all the links. They haven't been all the links haven't been released, but there's a least list of the films.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And some of them are long too. Some of them, I'm glad to see some of them are 27 minutes.
Yeah, I
That's a
agree.
25.
significant. That's a real film. Or The Gift, 25 minutes and 33 seconds. Our film, The Time Travels, is 19 minutes.
Right.
I'm glad that they're accepting the over 5 minute films because there's some really good films out there that are like they keep you riveted for half an hour or longer, that you're just like sitting there drooling practically as you're watching it.
Well, the one thing at TMU, when we started at TMO, and I've said this before, we started making 3 and 4 minute movies, maybe five. Then it started growing to 15, then 20, then a half hour. We have somebody at TMU, Killian, who makes 60-minute episodes of a series. Now, when you're pushing an hour from a cinema and people are watch it all the way through, then you're doing something that's pretty amazing. All
But
right.
I think that's important, especially if people want to take it, like prime time at any point, because that's what they're going to be looking for. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're going to be looking for longer running films that they can add ads to and stuff.
Well, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're looking to sell your product, yeah. And I got nothing wrong with people selling their product or showing it for free. It's all in what you want to do with it,
That's
So,
right.
and there's been a debate about that too, about selling your product or showing it for free. Look, you know, Da Vinci and all the great artists in the world didn't make very much money when they were artists. They didn't make their money until they died. All
Well,
right.
that's such an interesting question, and one I've thought of. Would you rather be a Van Gogh or own a Van Gogh?
That's it. So, it's all right to sell you what you want to sell out there. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But remember, there's people that want to just be an artist and they don't want to sell their work. They just want to show it. And there's nothing wrong with that either. And I think there's room for both, if you want to know the truth.
I
And
think it,
that's
yeah, it's very hard, and I know that we live in a subjective universe where each one of us has our own opinion, right? I mean, all of us have our own opinion, have our own thoughts, and my opinion is to me more important. The most important is your opinion is to you, and that's of course a great irony of humankind. Uh, but in sharing that, something greater happens,
Wow.
and it's important to be able to step outside of yourself. But then again, if I like, I will say, one thing I find very rude, and I've never been able to understand this, is like I'll be somewhere and I'll say, "Oh, I love oil and vinegar," and somebody says, "Oh, I hate that," and I think, well, maybe I didn't have to say I love it. I loved it because I certainly didn't want to hear you say I hated that. We all have our opinion, and I guess we're not afraid to use it.
Well, and opinions are fine, because I'll tell you what, if somebody looks at a movie I did and says, look, I would have done this better, you know,
Actually, the stronger the opinion, the more successful you are, really, whether it's good or bad.
that's a good point.
Because I mean, like, well, think about it. I mean, the one thing they tell you in in art school is that, if you can get a reaction from somebody, that's a success, whether it
Yeah,
be good
Mm.
or bad, because you're drawing emotion from someone, which is what we're trying to do anyway.
that's true. I mean, if they look at it and say, look, I think you should have done this. And you know what? If people's constructive criticism, there's a difference between criticizing somebody and constructive criticism. I mean, there's some people that will just put in a comment, they'll say, oh, that was crap. Well, tell me why it was crap. Don't just put it was crap. Tell me why you thought.
Well, yeah, because they might have thought it was crap because it hit something, like it hit a nerve deep inside them. They didn't
Or
agree
they
with the
didn't have lunch,
message.
right?
They didn't, yeah, or they didn't have lunch. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't mind anybody criticizing on any of my stuff as long as they tell me why they didn't like it or what they thought should have been different. And you know what? A lot of times, if somebody tells me something, I'll look at it and say, you know what, they were right. And when you're close to something, sometimes you don't see it.
That's true.
You're working on it. So I mean, so constructive criticism is a good thing, because it helps you get better. That's another thing I want to bring up about the weekly look. For 2 years, I've been on the show, and which has been on here almost a year. It's been about almost a year, I think.
Yeah, it
And,
has.
and that's what we did. We talked about movies. We tried to tell the studio that was making them what we thought was good about it, what we thought was bad, and what needed to be changed to help them. A lot of what we talked about were new studios that were just starting out. That, when you first start out, my first movies were shit, I'll be honest with you, until I got better at it. And at TMO, that's what a lot of people used to do there is you put up a movie, they'd comment about it, they let you know what they thought of it, what they thought they would have done better with it. And it helps you learn how to make a better movie.
Yeah,
So
the comments are
the
important.
comments are important.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Piscean said
because
it's strange, but it appears to me that more blogs are read for the comments than the content. I love that. And then AT said, especially the comments on machinima.com, like, my ears are bleeding.
Well, and that's the thing. But people don't realize it. The comments do make a difference on who's creating the movie because there's some things, like I said, that you don't see all the time because you're too close to it.
well, there may be technical stuff you don't know either. Like, especially if you're starting out, somebody may mention, I think you should have tried that, do this, this, and this. Like with with the movies, right? When they have that mumble track at the beginning,
Turn it
a lot of people don't know to turn it off and stuff.
right. And I'll tell you another thing. In the cinema, what I've found that works is pacing and editing. Okay, if you pace
Hmm.
it fast, all right, if you have a long scene and it's too long, people start to lose interest. All right. So if your pacing is right on, where it's quick enough, where 20 minutes watching a cinema goes by so quick that you don't realize it's been 20 minutes, then you've done
Fabulous. Of course.
right. Then you've done a good job in editing.
That's a
All
huge
right.
success. Well, it's in this, you have to have an ego to put film out. An artist does not approach a canvas because they think their vision unimportant,
Right. I agree.
right?
Well,
Somebody paints or draws or acts or writes or creates film because they must. It comes from a very deep place, and you have to be quite brave to do this. And you also have to have some ego. But
Yeah.
in order to make it better, you must be
What?
ego-less.
well, every artist has an ego.
You probably do through the window.
Hey, Monk, we can hear you talking.
That's true.
every artist has an ego when they put something together, and anybody that tells me, "Oh, I don't have an ego," yeah, you do. All right, it's 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 up to you to keep it in check and don't let yourself get a big head. All right, if you get a big head, and I've seen this happen to a lot of talent, you start thinking I'm better than everybody, and then nobody wants to work with you anymore. Okay.
Actually, what I found when I was making, like, well, not so much anymore, but like with my singing and stuff, I share it like right away. But when I was making my physical art, like my drawings, my paintings, I would hide. Actually, a lot of the stuff I have in my store right now, I didn't put out in the public for almost 10 years because it was very raw and very emotional to me at that time. Like
Mhm.
I was expressing what was going on inside me at that time, and it was so raw that I didn't want to completely share it with the public. It took me a while to release it or, to like let it go out there sort of thing.
Well, we're our worst critics. You know that, which is an artist.
Totally. Yeah, we are.
I
We're
mean,
horrible. We just beat ourselves up.
constantly. We're gonna have to take a break. Pookie, thanks for being on the show.
Thank
We're gonna
you.
have Gabe come in right after the break. Monk, it's gonna be a short break, right? Are you there now? Now you can talk.
Yeah, it's can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, well, we do.
Come and take a look. Open up my chocolate bar.